Hello everyone, welcome to GS Booster Shot, your daily dose for GS preparations. In our today's lecture, we are going to talk about the Competition Commission of India and its recent action against a beer cartel. Competition Commission of India happens to be an important topic with respect to our GS3's preparations. I've also discussed this topic in one of our previous lectures on the issue of platform companies. So, let us understand as to what gives us the context for this discussion. So, the Competition Commission of India has recently fined three beer producers of the country. These are United Breweries, makers of Kingfisher, Carlsberg, makers of Carlsberg and Tuborg, and AB InBev India, makers of Budweiser, Corona, etc. They have been fined to the tune of 873 crore rupees for cartelization in supply and sales of beer from the year 2009 to 2018. So, for about 10 years, these companies have been engaging in cartelization of the beer industry, especially in the sales aspect. Let us first understand what do we mean by a cartel. So, Section 2C of the Competition Commission Act defines a cartel. So, cartel is basically an association of producers या फिर sellers, distributors भी हो सकते हैं, traders or service providers who by an agreement amongst themselves decides to limit or control or attempt to control production, distribution, sale or price of any good or service. So, there is a tacit agreement between the producer, seller, distributor or trader of any good and services so as to control the price, production or even an attempt to control the price or production of a good in the market. So, basically, in order to identify a cartel, it is extremely difficult because these cartels work in secrecy and there is no written agreement as such between them because this is perhaps illegal in the market. So, for voluntary disclosure, CCI, that is the regulator, Competition Commission of India, runs a leniency program. So, CCI says that if there is a whistleblower or if someone wants to get out of such unfair trade practice, he can come to us and voluntarily disclose his or hers participation in such sort of a cartel, and we may give them leniency when we are going to penalize them. So, now let us see what has happened with respect to these three beer companies. So, the story starts in 2016. 2016 के अंदर SAB Millers was acquired or there was a merger of SAB Millers was AB InBev India. So, ये AB InBev is also a very big brewery and its merger happened with SAB Millers. So, this also meant this was a global deal to the tune of about $100 billion. So, this also meant that there would be merger of the company's business in India as well. So, while the merger was taking place, AB InBev found out to be the nefarious practice of these cartels in which SAB Miller was also engaging in. So, AB InBev, in order to save itself from any sort of future action in the event of fallout of this very cartel, it went to the Competition Commission of India and told Competition Commission of India about the working of this cartel and applied for this leniency, filed a leniency application. Now, with AB InBev going to Commission of India, all the players of the cartel, that is the Carlsberg and the United Breweries, they thought that now you never know what sort of an information AB InBev is going to give to Competition Commission of India, and a sort of prisoner's dilemma came up, and therefore both United Breweries and Carlsberg also followed suit. They also went to CCI for voluntary disclosure and applied for this same leniency program. So, with this came to the fore as to how this cartel was working on. Now, let us see how and why this cartel was actually working on. Basically, the liquor industry has a lot of dominance of state also. States impose a lot of taxes on liquors and they are not, especially in case of beer, the beer companies are not free, so in order to decide the rates that they can charge, and these rates are highly regulated, and whenever there has to be any increase in the rate of the beer, they have to take permission from the state. So while production costs were going up, it was becoming difficult to negotiate with states so as to get a raise. Although states also earn a lot of money out of these revenues. There's excise tax that is put on beers. So these beer companies thought, let us take the advantage of the state's interest in this very business. So what they started doing, they started coordinating with each other and started reducing production. So naturally, if all of the companies are going to reduce production at the same time, what is going to happen? The state's revenue are going to go down, because state is getting a revenue on each crate of beer that has been sold. So this puts these companies in a favorable position so as to negotiate with state so as to increase the prices of beers. In this very manner, they were running this very cartel, although this was illegal with respect to competition aspect. So now let us see what has been the origin, which is the main topic that we need to understand, that is with respect to competition law. Over here we just learned as to how competition laws work and how competition laws seeks to prevent such cartels from operating. Competition law is also popularly known as antitrust law. So where did this term antitrust came from? So basically antitrust law came from United States competition law. In the 19th century, there were a lot of trusts which were working in United States, and these trusts has somewhat monopolized the nationwide markets with respect to rail transport, steel, petroleum, banking and related lines of commerce. In order to keep a check on these very trusts so that these trusts do not have a negative impact on the market, the United States brought up an antitrust law, and it is from here that competition law gained its very recognition. Now basically competition law are very necessary in order to achieve the merits of capitalism. In capitalism, the markets are sought to work by demand and supply forces, and in order to achieve the best things out of capitalism, which are, capitalism provides for an atmosphere of innovation. Now take the example of United Breweries. In capitalist market, we feel that the companies will be working in competition with one another. However, if companies form a cartel, they'll start cooperating with one another, and once companies start cooperating with one another, what will happen is they will stop innovating, because then they know that their revenues are fixed and they do not need to bring in new products in the market. Where is the need for new products in the market when your product is already selling? Only and only when only then company brings a new product when the company feels that it has to grab a larger share of the market. So this in effect will reduce the variety of goods that are available to the consumers. In capitalism, this is one of the biggest benefit. After 1990s, the options of goods which opened up for consumers in India were enormous. Before that, we were having only 1 or 2 brands of cars. Today we are having more than over 20 brands of cars in the country. Then capitalism also promotes efficient production of goods and services. So in capitalism, there is always a concern in the companies that they should produce goods at the cheapest possible level, so that if they can produce the goods at cheapest possible level, their margins of profit can increase and they can then transfer this reduced price to the consumers as well. However, in case of a cartel, what is going to happen? People are stopped going to the companies, will be stopped looking at the efficiency aspect, because at that point in time the companies are assured that their product will be kept on selling on at the same price, and even when the price is not suiting them, by use of that very cartel, they can hike the prices, and consumers will be left with only two choices. Either consumer can stop drinking the beer in this very case, or the consumer has to pay higher price. Second, lastly, capitalism also promotes optimum utilization of resources. So, this is somewhat related to achieving efficiency only. However, in case of optimum utilization, every company tries that there is least wastage. However, in case of assured returns in form of a cartel or influence over the market, if you are having a monopoly, companies then stop looking at the optimum utilization of resources at its fold, and this leads to wastage of resources, which is in turn a wastage for the entire economy and rather environment as well. Now let us talk about MRTP Act. So MRTP Act was basically somewhat akin to this competition or antitrust law with respect to India. So this act was launched in 1969. Let us see. The foundation of independent India's economy was set in a planned economy and was envisaged for the utilization and consumption of resources. A planned utilization and consumption of resources. MRTP Act was passed at a time of strict regulation and licensing of industries, and it was aimed at achieving two main objectives. दो main objectives MRTP Act के क्या थे? First was to prevent economic power concentration in the hands of few. We were wary that few companies should not become monopolies. Second, it was to prohibit monopolistic, unfair and restrictive trade practices. So, it was actually there so as to prevent any sort of a monopoly in the market. However, this act was not very much efficient. Why wasn't this act efficient? The chief reason why this act was not efficient was that it did not had any clause. Why do I say this? This act did not had any teeth, rather. It would be a better way to say this. Because if there is any violation in respect to this very act, if any company violates, the only option that this act was providing was that it can order the company to cease and desist from the alleged monopolistic or restrictive or unfair trade practice. There was no penalty or no punitive action taken against that very company. Besides this, although this act covered up all the areas of unfair trade practices or any sort of practice in which market could be influenced in an unfair manner, however, it did not define these terms such as dominant position क्या होती है, bid rigging क्या होती है, boycotts क्या होता है, cartel क्या होता है, collusion क्या होता है. This act did not define these terms. What this led to? This led to business uncertainty. A business was not even knowing whenever that it is engaging in any agreement with other companies that whether it is colluding or not, whether its act would tantamount to collude or not, or how and when a business could be said to be in a dominant position in an area. So, which is why the effectiveness of this very act was not very good. Then came the Competition Act of 2002. So, this is the very important act. Why do I say this? Because Competition Act has, number one, repealed the MRTP Act. Second thing, after 1990s onwards, India has adopted the LPG reforms, and with respect to that, somewhat our economy has tended to move towards capitalist sector, and in order to sustain capitalism, it is very important to see that competition is maintained in the market, because the right benefits of capitalism can only be reaped when there is complete competition in the market and when competition is not hampered. So, let us look at this very act and how it was different from MRTP Act. So, basically this act follows the philosophy of modern competition laws. Again, this act prohibits anti-competitive agreements, abuse of dominant position. For example, we can say that today Uber is in a dominant position with respect to cab aggregators. No other company, taxi company, can today stand up to Uber. So which is why we can say that today, yes, Uber is in a dominant position. However, we have to see as per this very act whether it is actually taking undue benefit of that very dominant position or not. There have been cases against Uber in Competition Commission also. The case is Meru versus Uber Cabs. So apart from this, it regulates combinations, acquisitions, acquiring, control and merger and acquisitions. Now this very act also regulates combinations, acquisitions, mergers and acquisition. Why is there need to regulate combinations and merger and acquisition? With respect to Facebook, let us take example. Now in US there has been an action brought out against Facebook for basically taking control of the entire social media market. Facebook today has also owns Instagram. It has also purchased WhatsApp. It has been alleged against Facebook that it is actually merging and acquiring all the competitors in this very market with it. And in this very market, in this very manner, it is trying to become a monopoly and trying to exploit the market and not letting other players come into the market. So in this very manner, recently what happened? Government has given rebate of AGR dues to telecom companies. Government has said, in one of my lectures I have told you that government has now allowed them to pay these AGR dues after some time. Why did the government do this? Did the government do this for the financial health of the telecoms? No, the government did this for the consumers, because had the government not delayed the AGR dues, then Vodafone, number one, would have been bankrupt. Second, Airtel would have to take extreme austerity measures and would have to curtail down its very functions. What would this result into? In the telecom market, only one player would have been left, that would have been the Reliance. This would have naturally in turn ended the competition in the market. That would be in turn extremely detrimental to consumer benefits. In this very manner, if one company today becomes all powerful, and it has been seen that it has done it deliberately by curtailing competition for other companies, the Competition Commission has the power also to break down those companies. And the Competition Commission, if it feels that by merger of two very companies, there is a possibility that they can attain such bigger share of the market that would be detrimental for other companies and for competition as a whole, then also they can stop that very acquisition or merger. Now, in contrast to MRTP Act, so MRTP Act basically मोनोपलीज को प्रिवेंट करने की कोशिश कर रहा था, वेयर एज कॉम्पिटिशन कमीशन का जो फोकस है, इट इज टू प्रिवेंट प्रैक्टिसेस हैविंग एडवर्स इंपैक्ट ऑन कॉम्पिटिशन. देयर मे बी ए पॉसिबिलिटी दैट मार्केट के अंदर एक कोई कंपनी मोनोपोली पोजीशन में हो, बट कॉम्पिटिशन कमीशन एक्ट का ये चेक करने का फर्ज है कि यस, दैट मोनोपोली कंपनी इज नॉट हैम्परिंग कॉम्पिटिशन दैट इन दैट वेरी सेक्टर, इन दैट वेरी market. Besides this, MRTP Act was focused to prevent concentration of economic power and monopolist behavior, whereas Competition Commission focuses on positive acts of engendering competitive spirits and free enterprises. Basically, it is to promote competition in the market, do not restrict companies in their functioning, rather facilitate them. Lastly, how would Competition Commission achieve this very task? बेसिकली कॉम्पिटिशन कमीशन के जो चेयरमैन है, उनके पास ये पावर है दैट ऑल्सो वेन एवर ही फाइंड्स दैट देयर इज सर्टन एक्टिविटीज गोइंग ऑन इन एनी सेक्टर with respect to anti-competitive practices, he can take suo motu action and order an investigation into that very company. Who does this investigation? The Director General's post एक बनाई गई है CCI के अंदर. He is appointed by central government. So Director General can be asked so as to take on an investigation against the anti-competitive behavior. Let us look at the powers of the Director General. So Director General also has the powers to ask for any person's attendance and has the right to question him under oath. He can call for submissions, discovery, production of respective documents from the people which are needed for his investigation. He has the authority of collecting evidence on testimony. Then mandating commission for inspecting witnesses, witnesses भी ले सकते हैं, and requisition of any public record or copies of such records subject to the provisions of section 123, 124 of Indian Evidence Act. Basically कोई भी जो अथॉरिटी होती है, ये सीपीसी के रूल्स हैं, ये सीपीसी के अंदर पावर दी जाती है कोर्ट्स को, या फिर इन्वेस्टिगेटिव एजेंसीज को. Whichever authority, quasi judicial authority there is, in order to conduct their inquiries, they have this very power under CPC. Although Director General can himself not take up any suo motu investigation. It is only after a complaint has been made to the Competition Commission, or if the Competition Commission suo motu feels that there is need of an investigation into the activities of any company, then only such investigation is taken up. Now let us see some of the notable actions of CCI in recent past. So CCI has imposed a fine of about $10 million upon Google in 2014 for failure to comply with the directions given by Director General. Director General ने इनसे information मांगी थी, इन्होंने comply नहीं करी, and for this they were penalized about 10 million rupees. Then CCI imposed a fine of about 63 billion rupees on 11 cement companies, जिसमें जो चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स के जो ओनर हैं उनकी भी कंपनी शामिल है. So these cement companies were also in a cartel. In June 2012 में ये फाइन लगाया गया इनके ऊपर. They were regularly fixing prices and controlling market share. So then Competition Commission has ordered antitrust probe against Google for abusing its dominant position with Android to block other market rivals. Recently यूरोपियन यूनियन के अंदर गूगल के एंड्रॉयड के थ्रू बाकी जो कंपेटिटर्स हैं उनको मार्केट से डिवाइड करने के ऊपर उनके ऊपर एक्शन लिया गया इन यूरोपियन यूनियन. सीइंग दीज एक्टिविटीज़ ऑफ गूगल इन European Union, Competition Commission of India has also started taking an action against them. In the time when today companies are burning money throughout the economies so as to attain larger share of market, it is extremely important to see that smaller companies' rights and market access to other competitors is not being curtailed. In this very respect, Competition Commission of India has an important role to play. In order to reap the benefits of capitalism in the most proper manner also, it has to be seen that Competition Commission of India works in a proper manner and competition is maintained in the market. That will be all from my side for today. I will be attaching the PDF of this very lecture along with this very video. Should you have any doubts, feel free to put your doubts in the comment section. Thank you and have a nice day.